Let me tell you about the most dangerous enemy you will ever face. It doesn't live outside you. It doesn't wear a face you recognize. It speaks to you in your own voice, in your own language, using your own memories as weapons against your own future. It says you're not ready. That people like you don't build lives like that. That the pattern you've been running is who you actually are, not just what you've been doing. And the most dangerous thing about it, it sounds completely reasonable. It doesn't attack you. It advises you. It points to your history. It calls itself honesty. It says it's just trying to protect you from disappointment. But what it's actually protecting you from is the discomfort of attempting. And in doing so, it has been systematically dismantling your future, one you're not ready at a time. Here is the truth that everything else in this conversation builds on. You will never consistently act beyond what you believe about yourself. You can want more. You can plan more. You can hope for more. But you will not sustain the actions that produce more until your belief catches up to your ambition. Belief is not soft. It is not a motivational poster. It is the actual operating system determining which actions you take, how long you persist when things get hard, what you interpret failure to mean, and whether you ever give yourself the chance to discover what you're truly capable of. Change the belief. The action changes. The action changes. The habits change. The habits change. The results change. The results change. The life changes. Always. Without exception. So here is the question I want you to answer honestly, not the version you'd give if someone was watching, but the real operating belief underneath your intentions. Do you actually believe you can build what you keep saying you're going to build? That answer is running your life right now. And we are going to change it. Belief is learned. Every limitation you currently hold about yourself was assembled from somewhere, from experiences that were interpreted a certain way, from people who said things at moments when you were most open to receiving them, from patterns that repeated until your mind drew conclusions about what those patterns meant about you permanently, which means belief can be unlearned. Not instantly, not through affirmations, through something more powerful. Evidence. New evidence, deliberately built from your own experience, that contradicts the old conclusion. And here's how that evidence gets built. Through one thing. Doing what you told yourself you would do, and actually doing it. Every kept commitment deposits into the account. Every broken one withdraws. And the account balance determines the level of self-belief available to you in any given moment. Start with something undeniable. Something so small that the only reason not to do it is the habit of not doing things. Wake up when you said. Read the page you committed to. Do the 20 minutes you. Not because those things change your life on their own. Because they produce the first piece of evidence. And evidence is the only thing that actually changes belief. If this is landing, subscribe right now. I create this every single week. Hit subscribe, hit the bell, and stay with me. Now let's address the thing most people get fundamentally backwards. They believe the sequence goes like this. Develop belief. Then take action. Feel confident, then attempt the difficult thing. But that sequence has no entry point. Because the confidence you're waiting for can only be produced by the action you're waiting to feel confident enough to take. Action comes first. Belief follows. Think about a child learning to walk. That child does not first develop a confident belief that walking is possible, and then attempt it. The child falls, gets up, falls again, and through hundreds of repetitions, the balance develops, the coordination improves, and what was once impossible becomes natural. The belief that walking is possible didn't cause the child to learn to walk. Learning to walk produced the belief. Now apply that to your life. The business you haven't started because you're not sure you have what it takes. The skill you haven't developed because you're not convinced you're the kind of person who learns things like that. The commitment you haven't made because you're not sure you can keep it. The belief you're waiting for cannot arrive through waiting. It arrives through attempting, without confidence, without present, before you feel ready, and discovering, through the experience, that you are more capable than the voice told you. And failure? Failure is not evidence against the belief. Failure is the process through which the belief gets built. Every attempt that doesn't work contains specific information about what to adjust next time. That information, integrated honestly, makes the next attempt more capable. The people who succeed are not the people who experienced fewer failures. They are the people who stayed in the process long enough for failure's information to compound into capability. Stop treating failure as a verdict. Start treating it as a classroom. What did this teach me? What do I know now that I didn't before? What would I do differently with that knowledge? 3 questions, applied every time. They transform every setback from a reason to stop into a reason to continue with greater knowledge. That is what believing in yourself actually looks like in practice, not the absence of doubt. The practice of continuing through it and extracting maximum value from every experience. Now let's talk about the seasons when nobody believes in you. Because they will come. The seasons where the people around you don't understand what you're building, where the support isn't there, where you are doing the work in complete silence with no external signal that it's worth continuing. Most people treat those seasons as warning signs, as evidence they should reconsider. But those seasons are where the deepest self-belief gets built. Because belief that only exists in the presence of external validation is not really belief. It's borrowed confidence, fragile under pressure, gone the moment the applause stops. The belief that matters, the unshakable kind, is forged in the exact conditions where there is nothing external to lean on, when no one is watching, when no one is encouraging, when no one can see the work you're doing. And you continue anyway, because you discover, through the experience of continuing without support, that you don't need the support to continue. That the drive is internal. That the reason is yours. That the commitment you've made is to yourself. And that self-commitment holds even when nothing outside is holding it with you. That discovery cannot be made any other way, only by going through those seasons and choosing to stay in them. If you are in that season right now, stay. We're almost at the end, and I want to make sure this stays with you. If you haven't subscribed yet, do it right now. 1 click. Subscribe, bell notification. And let's finish this. Every single day, your mind is collecting data, updating the model of who you are. Not based on your intentions, based on what you actually do when you told yourself you were going to do it. And here's the piece most people miss. What you repeatedly expose your mind to is also shaping your belief. The conversations you're in, the conversations you're in, the voices you spend the most time with. All of it is planting seeds. And what gets planted gets watered by attention. And what gets watered grows. The person who spends hours consuming content that confirms limitation is building a belief system built on limitation. Even if they're intellectually aware of better possibilities. The person who deliberately seeks out evidence of human possibility, who exposes their mind consistently to proof that the thing they want to build has been built before, that the gap they're trying to close has been crossed. That person is constructing a different belief system, not through one transformative moment, through the steady accumulation of different inputs. Your beliefs are downstream of your inputs, and your inputs are within your control. Choose deliberately, because your belief system is being shaped either way. The only question is by what? Now let's return to where we started. The voice in your mind that says you're not ready, that the gap is too wide, that the pattern is too established. That voice is not the final word. It is a conclusion drawn from incomplete evidence. Evidence collected from a partial version of your history, filtered through the fears of moments that have already passed. You are not that incomplete history. You are also everything you haven't done yet. Every attempt you haven't made, every capability you haven't discovered, because you haven't yet given yourself the circumstances to discover it. All of that is still available, not as possibility, as still available, as the reliable, predictable result of changing your inputs and your actions and your relationship with your own word to yourself. So here is what I'm asking you to do. Right now, not eventually. Choose one belief about yourself that you've been accepting without questioning. One specific thing the voice has been telling you about your limits that you've been treating as fact, rather than as a conclusion drawn from old evidence. And decide, genuinely decide, that you are going to test it. Not by arguing with it. Not by trying to feel differently. By acting differently. By doing one specific thing today that is inconsistent with the limiting belief. One action that deposits the first piece of evidence into the new account. And tomorrow, do it again. And the day after. Not until the belief changes. Through the doing of it. Because that is how belief actually works. Through accumulated evidence. Through kept promises. Through the quiet, private, consistent practice of showing up for yourself when no one is watching and nothing is guaranteed. The voice is not the final word. Your actions are, start now. Subscribe before you go. I create content like this every week, and I don't want you missing the next one. Drop a comment with the one belief you're testing starting today. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. And like the video. Believe in yourself, not as a feeling you wait for, as a practice you build.